Welcome to the No Quit Living podcast. Our primary objective is to motivate and inspire our listeners to never quit. The reality of life is simple. We all fall. We all fail. At times, we get knocked down. The question is, do we get back up? Are we stronger? Are we better prepared to attain the maximum of our potential? Thank you for joining our No Quit tribe. As you go for your greatness today, never quit. And remember, we rise by lifting others up. Welcome to episode number 363 of the No Quit Living podcast. I'm your host, Christopher J. Worth, and today's theme of the day is embracing failure. Our quote of the day comes to us from the late, great Zig Ziglar. Failure is an event, not a person. We are super excited to announce that we have just dropped 2 new items for our No Quit Living apparel line. We have both a gray short sleeve t-shirt and a gray sweatshirt. They are part of our new Team No Quit line, and we would absolutely love it if you grabbed yourself a shirt and or a sweatshirt. You can head on over to positivitytribemerch.com. Once again, that is positivitytribemerch.com. Thank you. It has been a while since I released a solo episode, and I'm excited to bring you today's episode on embracing failure. As a big sports fan, I spent a good part of my early life looking at things from the point of view of specifically wins and losses. I used to believe that if you didn't win, you lost, and ultimately you failed. You were a failure. Now, today, as a 44-year-old, I've completely changed my point of view on failure. Over the past couple of years working with college teams, as well as during my high school and collegiate coaching career, some of our best moments and some of my best moments personally of growth and improvement actually came after a loss. I know that may seem strange to hear, and it's also strange to say, but I've found that it's often difficult to make significant improvements when you are winning. I have this quote that I've taken, borrowed, and tweaked from many different people that I'd like to read because I think it makes a lot of sense based on what I just said. Great coaches and teams are not created during winning streaks, when everything is going well. They are forged from the pain of loss and the struggles of defeat. They remain focused, ready, and motivated when their backs are against the wall. They reflect and learn from those setbacks. When they get knocked down, they get back up stronger. One more time. I don't think anyone wants to lose or fail, but at that moment, you have a choice of staying down and remaining defeated or getting back up and getting better. Over the past almost 400 episodes now, many of our incredible guests have spoken about their specific failures and the incredible lessons they learned. In the beginning of today's episode, I shared one of my all-time favorite quotes from Zig Ziglar: "Failure is an event, not a person." Now, I absolutely love this quote. If you think about it in its simplest form, it makes a ton of sense. Failure is an event, but failure and failing does not make you a failure. When I get the opportunity to speak to large school audiences, I often ask the students to raise their hands and to keep them up for the following questions. How many of you have ever failed a test, lost a game, failed to make a team, or win an election? How many of you have tried out for a play and didn't get the part you wanted? How many of you have applied to college and you didn't get in, or perhaps you got waitlisted? I ask everyone to please keep their hands raised. I then ask everyone to take a minute to look around the room, to take a minute to see how many of their fellow classmates have their hands up. It's not often when almost the entire audience has their hand raised. What I say next is important. I remind everyone that amidst those failures, we are all still here today. I ask them to look around the room and see that everybody is still here. We made it through those tough times. I challenge everyone to look around the room and truly recognize and realize that in life we all do fail and we all fall down. But the question is always, what will we do and what will you do with your failures? I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners know that I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan, and I'd like to share one of his quotes that I find incredibly valuable. "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 different times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Now, I know a lot of people consider Michael Jordan to be one of, if not the greatest players of all time. And with that said, think about that quote for a second. 9,000 missed shots, 300 losses, and 26 times he missed a game-winning shot in his career. Now, personally, I've never heard anybody define or call Michael Jordan a failure. And I think the reason is because he always got back up. Whenever he lost, he always tried to learn and grow. Whenever he missed, he really believed the next shot of his was going in. And when he missed a game winner, he was excited and he couldn't wait to take that next potential game winner. He didn't lower his head and mope. He tried to become better and always learn. When I personally look back at my marriage that ended in divorce, initially it was very hard for me to process. It was an incredibly painful time in my life for myself, my kids, and I'm sure for my ex as well. I would be lying if I said it was easy to move forward. Today I can look back at that time, and I believe that I've become a better person as a result of it. Of course, there are parts and things that are still painful and difficult, but I now look forward to the future with optimism. I believe I'm a better person, and I feel that I've learned and grown a ton during this entire process. In regards to growth, the great NFL Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith has a 24-hour rule where he says you shouldn't lament a loss or celebrate a win for more than 24 hours. Now, I think it's easy for me to say that, but as a super competitive person, and I know many of our listeners are, it's hard to do. It's hard to both limit your celebration for only 24 hours while also limiting your focus on that loss for only 24 hours. However, if we learn from our failure and we're able to put it in its correct place, I believe the potential growth moving forward is incredibly powerful. I don't know anyone that enjoys or really looks forward to losing. But I think the best of the best in all areas of life truly learn, grow, and ultimately they adapt from those failures. In my parting words today, I would like to ask each of our listeners to take a moment to think about how you personally address failure. Take it a step further and think about the last time you actually failed in your life. Was it today, yesterday, or maybe even a week ago? But how did you respond? Were you mad, upset? Did you laugh? Or maybe you just hung your head? Did you learn from it, or did you just move forward and completely leave that failure in the past? My challenge to you today is very simple. The next time you face failure, lean into it. I do not mean to expect failure nor to look for it, but when it does come, lean into it from a growth perspective. Don't focus only on the failure aspect, but instead invest your efforts and energy on what you can learn from it. Challenge yourself to grow from it and become a better version of yourself. And remember, we rise by lifting others up.
And lastly, to our listeners, thank you. We truly appreciate your time, and we hope our episodes inspire you to keep on attacking life and never giving up. To quote Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, it's always too early to quit.